Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 3 of the Foreign Fuel podcast. I am your host, Dominic Capilupo, also known as Dom Caps on Twitter and all forms of social media. I am excited to be back for season 3 of the Foreign Fuel podcast. And we've got the four guys that were here last season and we're back again. Had a little bit of a hiatus to end season 2. Everything kind of got hectic with our lives, but I think we're back for season 3 and looking to have a strong season. A new season, a new car for NASCAR. Same old us on the Foreign Field podcast, but some big changes. I know, Steve, I think you've had some of the biggest changes. I see you have a different background. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, I actually found enough. Well, I don't have enough money, but I was able to talk someone into give me a house or letting me buy a house. So I'm in a room that's, more than 50 degrees in here. So I'm not freezing and having to wear my winter coat during an episode. So I'm actually in a permanent room now, being able to do this. I'm so excited to be back for another season. And hopefully we can get a full season out of this one.
That's for sure. I'm so excited. I'm more motivated than ever to be covering NASCAR this year and getting our takes out there. I've actually gotten into TikTok. I've been uploading daily, actually. And if you have TikTok and you want to see some NASCAR entertainment, some news and stuff, and my takes on stuff, at DomCaps11. That's also my Twitter. You'll see our Twitters here. I know Sam's good with the editing. He'll put all our Twitters and stuff so you can follow us on Twitter and follow the Foreign Field podcast on Twitter. Speaking of Sam is I think he's still at Troy, right? I think he's somewhere,
Yeah, I am
down there.
I moved into a new apartment. I moved into here a couple months ago, last semester. I'm still pursuing my broadcast journalism dreams here at the great Troy University. Hence the hat and the hoodie or the sweatshirt that I have on now. But yeah, it's pretty much nothing much has changed except for the background that I've got going on now.
Well, I'm almost a year removed from school, and I still am looking for that big break, that first job. So I know you're going to make it pretty well. You got the professional looking headset there. It almost looks like you should be in the booth right now.
Yes, sir.
And then obviously we got our good old friend, Wes Riddle. He's rocking the Brandon Brown hoodie. Virginia native.
All my Virginia drivers.
Brandon Brown got a win last year. We saw Wes and I went to Las Vegas last year in the fall. And we saw some good racing out there. Saw some unexpected winners, you could say, Wes. Those 3 winners at Las Vegas, I wouldn't have expected any of them to win.
Right. I guess we saw it started with Eckes getting his first win, which I don't think a lot of people expected. I think people thought he would in a full-time season, not in a part-time gig, especially during the playoffs of all things. Mm-hmm. And then we saw Josh Berry, again, another part-timer, first mile and a half win, a guy that doesn't really have that much practice at all in mile and a halves. And now we're going to actually have practice in qualifying this season, so it might play out more for him. And then we saw Denny Hamlin, a guy that's gotten better at Vegas, but it's not his best track. And I know for you, that was special. As you can see, everybody watching a little bit behind Dom, we got some Denny Hamlin action going on.
Yeah, so you had great racing, and if you were in the Las Vegas area that weekend, if you really wanted to see us, you would have caught us really at the big wheel most of the time. That big wheel.
That wheel, I don't know. It was something out of this world. I mean, there were some fun games watching you play, but I know for me, I didn't want to risk it because I was that wheel was playing in our favor almost every day. I don't know. There were a couple of days it was kind of alternating between us, but I'm pretty sure actually made a profit just on that wheel alone, which is pretty incredible.
And then we had that vending machine cake out of a vending machine. That, what else? I mean, Vegas brings the vending machine cake. I think that alone will bring me back this year.
I swear, when they change it to horseshoe, they better not get rid of the cake. That cake better stay on the bottom floor right there by the big wheel. And if so, when we go back to Las Vegas, we're all going to go together. It's going to be an incredible time because we're all going to get a slice of cake. And we're going to get one because there are 4 different flavors. We're each going to get one of the 4.
It's better be good cake if you're hyping it up this much. It's better be the best cake.
Be ready to blow $12. I think it was $12.
This $12 cake better be immaculate.
I'm gonna have to start selling things. Sell my Xbox.
11
He's gonna have
p.m.
to pawn his Xbox and
p.m.
his car, his house, his wife, you know, for this cake. This cake, though, it's worth it.
One of a kind.
Well, speaking of worth it, the Daytona 500 seems to be worth it. Well, for me, I'm going this year. First time going to the Daytona 500. I can't wait. I'll be there a week before and a few days after. So I'm going to be there all the speed weeks. I should be at the track every day from Tuesday to Sunday, hopefully through Sunday. Hopefully we don't have to go back Monday. But knowing Daytona, it's probably going to rain every day. So might have a triple header on Monday with the trucks, Xfinity, and the 500. Well, you can throw ARCA in there too. Some quadruple header Monday, February 21st. I can't wait. But Daytona 500, nothing like it. Next gen car. I'm just hoping it's not like the last time NASCAR got a new car and went to the Daytona 500. We all know the 2013 Daytona 500 with the Gen 6 cars was one of the worst Daytona 500s in recent memory. Not because of the winner. Well, kind of because of the winner, obviously. I don't think anybody on here likes Jimmy Johnson. So
not when Gordon was still racing. It wasn't until really after Gordon done that you kind of appreciate Jimmy Johnson. But no, those couple of years when, like the late 2000s, when Gordon and Johnson were just going at it. Not a big 48 fan.
Well, I mean, we're all Jeff Gordon fans at heart. All of us came out of the 24 stable as fans, and I think we've all kind of split ways. We're all over the map. I know Wes got a few favorite drivers, but you got Steve with Chase, Sam with Joey Logano, and I guess Wes have had to go somewhere. I guess go Ryan Blaney, I'd assume, and then Denny Hamlin here. So
we got your manufacturers covered with that.
We do.
We
just
Fords.
need a Dodge.
Yeah. We need a Dodge in the Cup Series is what we need.
Well, I think if there's one team that could do it, I think Rick Ware Racing can swing it. Hey, they're looking good in the Clash. I think Rick Ware, watch out. Cody Ware is going to be he's going to be on the move this year.
Hey, David Reagan's coming back for the 500 too.
David Reagan May. Now, when it comes down to the Daytona 500, I think what do you guys think? You guys think there's going to be a lot of single file racing with these new cars and the limited backup cars, or do you guys think it's kind of going to be a crapshoot, kind of like it's been the last few years?
It's hard to know.
I think really for the
I'll go. It's hard to know because of how new the car is and how many different things they did. Because you look at the Gen 6, obviously when it came in, that was terrible racing to begin with at the super speedways. And I don't want to damn this car right off the bat and say it's going to be awful racing, right? But as it's probably not going to be the best that it can be right off the bat because these drivers have to learn where the edge is on the new car, especially with how many changes that they've made with this new car. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting seeing them racing these cars for the first time.
Yeah, I think Daytona for the 500 and especially in the duels, we're going to see these cars really in race form. I think the duels are going to be relatively single file. They're going to get a feel for the car and what it does in the draft. We kind of saw the return of the preseason Thunder in the January test. And so they kind of get a little feel for the pack and what it's going to do. But I think with the limited number of backups that these teams have, and especially since we're hearing that this car has to race at multiple tracks, I think for the 500 at least, it's going to be relatively calm. We'll see once we get around to Talladega and the next Daytona race. Once we have more backup cars, I think you'll see the intensity pick up.
Yeah, I think you two kind of touched on it the right way. In all honesty, I don't even know why we're going to run the duels. I mean, it's one thing to be able to test the car, but the purpose of the duels was to try to figure out who was going to make the 500. And now, I mean, with the field as small as it's going to be, I don't know if we're going to have over 40 cars. We might have like 41 or 42. I mean, there's almost no point. And it's just going to put every team at risk. That's an added risk going into the week, with such a limited supply of cars and parts. The duels are going to be just an extra race where every team is going to have to play it safe. So I think that we're going to see some really, really, unfortunately, boring duels just because no one's going to be able to want to make a move. And I think we're going to see team orders, or maybe not team orders, but manufacturing orders, to kind of all stay together, even if it's down to the last lap. I just don't think teams are going to want to take that risk, just for one extra position to start in the 500. I think the 500 is probably going to be a little bit more interesting, especially the second half, because just the drivers in this day and age, I don't really think that's still the kind of I think their focus is more on just focusing on getting the win, which I mean everybody does, but I could just see some of the driving styles from some of these drivers just kind of forget that and take it out of the window, and then get reminded at some point during the race. So we'll have to see. I think it's definitely going to be a risk early on, but I wouldn't be surprised late. They just kind of throw it out the window. Drivers, just being selfish, but that's what you have to do to get a win.
The last thing you want is a big wreck in the beginning portions of the race. As we saw last year in the 500, they had the big one on lap like 13 or 14, and that kind of gave us a small field for the rest of the race, and it was a lot of single file, especially at the end of that race. And you got your aggressive guys like Hamlin, Chase Elliott in the back of the pack, but no one else to do anything with, and you're just kind of gridlocked. So I hope that's not the case this year. I hope you got a big field, and if there is a big wreck, it happens towards the end, so we at least get a majority of the race to see what the field can do and how the pack can be formed with this new car. Now, I don't want to harp too much on the first episode of the season. I kind of want to get our points across, get in, get out. So I want to just get into our Daytona 500 picks. Last year we did our thing. Worst pick is their finisher. They would pick first. Obviously, we have nothing to reference that off. So we did a little like the old Budweiser shootout, did a random draw to see who would go first. And Wes got the lucky number one. So Wes, who's going to kick off the season and win the first ever race in the next gen era?
I'm going to be honest. I legitimately put zero thought on it leading up to today or even leading up to this very moment. So I'm running through my head like real quick, doing some quick scenarios like who do I think is going to be up front. If I'm going to make it a little bit fun, especially to start the season off. We've seen Fords fast throughout the testing practice at pretty much every track. I think they've been the leading manufacturer so far. But I'm going to go with a Ford driver that I don't think a lot of people are giving credit, especially for the move that he made this season, and that's Brad Keselowski. I think Brad Keselowski is going to open the season with a bang, get his first Daytona 500 win. I think a lot of people think that their team is going to be slacking because of the change, but I think he's a really underappreciated talent, and I think that he has the just the will and the motivation to get that team pointed in the right direction. So I think it would be really cool to see him go out on top, especially just starting out as a team owner. So I think it'd be fun. And plus he's got one of the sweetest cars. I mean, you can't deny that car is one of the that might be top 2, top 3 for almost every person, whether you love him or hate him. So let's go Keselowski.
Now, I actually got the second pick by the draw. Brad Keselowski's a good pick. a driver looking for his first Daytona 500. He's been so close. I thought he had it last year until his teammate threw a block on him to, kind of wreck everybody. But I think somebody else is going to get their first Daytona 500 win. He's been going at it for a while. And some people compare him to Dale Earnhardt, and I think this is his time. I think Kyle Busch is going to win his first Daytona 500. I think this new car, to get out of the Gen 6 car and the last couple of years has been a struggle. This is the fresh, clean slate Kyle Busch needs, and I think it's going to start off with the Daytona 500 win. And I'll talk more about Kyle Busch later when we're talking about our championship picks. All right, and Steve, you got the third pick. So the original three got the top three picks, at least the newest member did not, break up, spoil the party.
That's right. And you know that our buddy Dalton Good, he's gonna like hearing that pick that you had with Kyle Busch. Looking good for the class too, is on pole. I agree with Wes though. Those Fords looked really good in the testing. I'm actually going to keep it in the Penske camp. He's been really close. 2017 almost had it. In 2020 almost had it before Ryan Newman flew up in the fence. But I'm going to go Ryan Blaney. Won at Daytona last year. Obviously, I was with the Gen 6 car, and Blaney has always been really good at the plate tracks. And I'm going to go with him.
I will make a correction. Brad Keselowski is no longer in the Penske camp. So you can't say he kept it in the Penske camp because Keselowski is not on Team Penske anymore.
That's right. That's right. I got so used to him being a 2-car. It was weird seeing Cindric in the 2-car because I kept thinking that it was Keselowski. But no, you're right. He is no longer Penske. I'm going to make that mistake all year long.
All right, and down in the dumps is our last pick, Sam. All the big guys are kind of taken for the 500, it looks like.
You cannot sit here and tell me that all the big guys are taken when the guy that I'm about to pick is still on the board. I can't remember if I picked him last year or not, but he comes to my head immediately whenever I think of the Daytona 500. Dom knows exactly who I'm going to say, and it is Denny Hamlin. Okay, you cannot refute his resume. He's won so many. As much as I like to hate on Denny Hamlin, okay, he's really good at the plate tracks. He knows what he's doing. He knows, and you could probably pull up a clip from last year of me making fun of him for whatever.
Flashback.
It's because Denny Hamlin's garbage. Okay, I still don't like the guy, but it's such a safe bet to pick Denny Hamlin just because he has the resume of however many Daytona 500 he's won, and that's really hard to do. So my pick's going to be Denny Hamlin, plain and simple. That's probably one of the best odds that you'll get on anybody is Denny Hamlin. So I'm taking him.
In the Daytona 500s in the Gen 6 era, Denny Hamlin's worst finish was 17th in the Daytona 500. And I believe he finished top 5 in every other Daytona 500 since 2013. So, yeah, he's not a bad pick. Obviously, I think you're kind of picking him just so he doesn't win because usually whoever we pick, they don't win. So, but anyways.
I don't know. It sounds like we picked the 4 best plate racers currently in NASCAR. So I feel like we have a pretty strong, maybe a 25-30% chance, but probably, for all we know, Michael McDowell is going to win 2 in a row.
Hey, well, back-to-back Daytona 500 champion Michael McDowell. That's something to add to the resume.
Or David Reagan's sweet redemption from 2011.
May only I cross my fingers and hope.
Either Reagan or the way that Twitter is going after the Flash practice. Don't count out Cody Ware.
Cody Ware. Yes, sir.
All right, yeah. If Cody Ware wins the Daytona 500, this will be the final episode of the Four and Field podcast. All right, and now on to our preseason championship picks. your championship 4 picks. I guess we'll just go same. We'll go reverse order. We'll start with Sam and work our way around. So give me your championship 4 and your 2022 NASCAR Cup Series champion.
All right. So to preface this, I've got 2 that, you just assume to be in the final 4 pretty much every year, especially, after last year, how dominant these 2 were. But also I've got 2 that are kind of, I don't know, not sleeper picks, but 2 guys that I expect to have a good season this year and finally make that, last little push that they need to get to the final 4. So my 4 are going to be Larson, Hamlin, Bowman, and Blaney. Larson, it's self-explanatory. He absolutely dominated everything this year. And even with the new car, I expect, just because he's a wheelman, he's one of those true wheelmen in the sport. He's just got so much talent that I think even with the new car, he's going to be able to win a bunch of races again this year. Hamlin's always been consistent. I love to dog on him, and I will continue to dog on him, no matter how many times that I say he's going to win, because logically I know he's good, but emotionally I don't want to accept it. So Hamlin, he's just really consistent, and he consistently does what he needs to do to get to that final 4. Bowman, he showed a lot of potential this year. He did a lot of really good things this year, and I expect him to keep on that growing path, that upward path, towards the final 4. And then same with Blaney. Blaney did some good things this year, and I expect him to be able to push through to that final 4 as well.
And then out of those 4, who's coming on top at Phoenix?
Okay, well, it's going to be pretty basic, but I'm going with a back-to-back champion. For the first time since Jimmy Johnson did 5 in a row, is Larson. I expect Kyle Larson to win this year. Honestly, with everything that we've seen from last year, there's no way to really think any other way that it's going to stop. I could be wrong. He could end up not having as great of a year. He may not win the championship. He probably won't, odds are, but he's just too good of a pure talent driver for me, especially in a transition year like this, to not think that he's going to get that championship.
All right. So bold pick right off the bat, Kyle Larson. And now on to Steve. Steve, who's standing on top in November?
Yeah, I actually got a Hendrick versus Gibbs championship 4. I got 2 guys from Hendrick and 2 guys from Gibbs. The guys from Hendrick, I have Larson and Chase Elliott making it. And then the Gibbs guys, I have Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Really, any one of those guys could be the champion. However, I think getting his 3rd Cup championship, I have Kyle Busch going and getting another championship at the end of the year at Phoenix. I just think, it goes back to the unknown. Don't know how this season is going to play out with the new car, but I just feel like Kyle Busch is just one of the best drivers to adapt to new cars, new situations. He's phenomenal in anything that he drives. And I think Larson's going to give him a run for his money. And that was I was really tempted to go with him. I just think Kyle Busch is one of the best in the business, and I think he gets his 3rd Cup championship this year.
All right. I guess Steve was reading off my notes because my championship 4 comes down to, I got Hendrick versus Gibbs as well. My drivers are a little different though. I have Kyle Larson in the championship 4 and William Byron in the championship 4, not Chase Elliott. And then for the Gibbs guys, I got Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell being a dark horse sneaking into the championship 4. And then as champion, I also have Kyle Busch getting his 3rd championship, having our first 3-time champion since Tony Stewart back in 2011. I think Kyle Busch is still the only multi-time champion active in the field because we have not had a repeat champion at all. Two-time champion since Johnson retired. So Kyle Busch is gonna go 2 ahead of everybody, 3 ahead of most others. Kyle Busch is gonna be your 2022 NASCAR Cup Series champion. And last but not least, back over to Wes.
So I'm kind of combining, I feel like, everybody's list. I've got 2 guys that have already been in the championship for in previous years, those being Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. I think that their knowledge and experience is going to transfer from last year and help them get to the championship again, or at least the championship 4 there at Phoenix. I think they both have the talent for it, and this package is going to favor them. The 2 new guys I actually have from 2 different camps. 2 similar camps. I have William Byron and Ryan Blaney. I think that over the past few years, we've seen them really kind of develop into 2 really talented rising stars from guys that really didn't have a lot of, experience stepping into the Cup Series. It was either part-time or short-term schedules for each, just one quick season. So I think that those 2, they both had really, really solid seasons last year. Byron should have at least made it. I don't think he made it to the top 8, did he? I think he had some bad luck in the first round that kind of set him out. So I feel like he should have at least made it to the 8. I feel like we could have saw more from him. And Blaney was in a good chance too to make the championship 4, but he had some incidents with Austin Dillon, I think, that kind of took him completely out of contention. But I think, you put that aside, I think those 2 are definitely guys that could make their way into the championship 4 and be contenders. And I think it's definitely time for a little shake up there at the top. I don't think we're going to see the same guys that we've seen in previous years. And then my championship winning pick, as of now, I got to go Kyle Larson. I think Kyle Busch is a good pick. I see that, Dom and Steve, you both picked them. But since I don't have them in mind, I have to go the guy that won last year. I mean, he's as impressive as it gets. I don't think he's going to be as dominant as he was last season. Like some people think. I think he's going to be, the field's going to be a little bit closer, kind of like what Corey LaJoie had mentioned during their, their practice sessions at like Charlotte and a few different tracks. So I think it's going to be a little bit tighter of a season for competition up front, but I still think Larson's going to be the leading factor most of the year, and that's going to help him get his 2nd straight championship.
Yeah, as you can see, it's the Kyle and Kyle show here for the championship on the Foreign Field podcast. Half go Larson, half go Kyle Busch. It's going to be an interesting season, and I can't wait to be here with you guys all season talking about it each week, week in and week out. We're gonna make it through the whole season this time, and I think we're gonna be looking good. I think at the end of this season, and we're gonna come back to these picks and probably look like fools because I guarantee probably none of us got anywhere near what these championship 4 is gonna be.
Yeah. We're going to come back to this, and Larson and Busch are going to be out of the round of 16.
That's just how it goes in NASCAR. That's the thing. Like one year, someone can be completely dominant, and then the next year they fizzle out early in the playoffs. It's crazy how like in other sports like football and like college football and stuff, like it's really week to week. In NASCAR, it's less week to week and more year to year. And how just like polar opposites these teams and these cars can be. And it's really strange because it's the same driving talent, but somehow this guy's better this year than this guy, and which makes honestly what Jimmy Johnson did all those years so much more impressive.
I couldn't agree more. You look at Kyle Busch, 2019 champion, and just fell off a cliff the last 2 years. So, anything could happen. Kyle Larson looks like he's going to dominate this sport. We thought Kevin Harvick was dominating the sport in 2020, and 2021 comes around, he can't win. So anything can happen in this sport. That's why we love it. All this new change, and I'm so ready to cover it all with you guys. And I appreciate you guys joining me back for season 3. Couldn't do it without you guys and the fans. I hope you guys tune in, and hopefully we'll grow our following and turn this into something we can, be proud of. So anyways, that's first episode of season 3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and tune in for episode 2 after the Daytona 500. I'll see you guys and enjoy Speed Weeks.